One of the most important things that you and I can actually know is the love of God. Not just that He loves us, but the fullness of that love and what it means. To comprehend and grasp something that's so incredible and significant. It shapes and directs and transforms your life and my life. Remember, we read in 1 John 4 that we love Him because He first loved us. And we know the scriptures like John 3:16 that God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whoever believes in Him might not perish but have everlasting life. This is what the love of God actually does. And we need to grow in understanding. You need to grasp the fact that God loves you so much that He would give everything for you. And to actually grow in the comprehension and understanding of that love and how it impacts your life in so many ways. We've been reading in Ephesians 3. We're going to take 2 verses and finish up this little section in Ephesians 3 today. So we're going to be looking at Ephesians 3 and verses 18 and 19 today. And they're really important. But just picking up what he said that about Christ, verse 17, may dwell in your hearts through faith. And that's your believing, that's your grabbing a hold of His very presence and His very life in you and with you. And that you're strengthened by that. And that you, this is the outcome, is that you being rooted and grounded in love. Okay, so we know also from 1 John that love is the very nature of God. God is love, John says very pointedly and specifically twice in 1 John 4. God is love. And if we're going to understand and know God, it is knowing what love is. He goes on now in verse 18, Ephesians 3, that being rooted and grounded in love, you may be able to comprehend with all of the saints, all of them, all of the believers, all the holy ones. And that's what that word saint means. It means holy one. And God calls you a holy one, a saint. And He wants you to be able to comprehend with all the saints, all the believers, what is the width and length and depth and height. And this is the fullness, a full understanding of love of who God is. Now notice what he says in verse 19 then. He says, to know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge. You can't comprehend and understand the love of Christ without divine intervention and revelation. That's why I can't even love Him except that He first loved me. He shows me what love is. He lives in me and empowers me to be loved, to understand, to know His love, and to be transformed by it. Second part of this verse, though, tells us what this means. To know the love of Christ, which passes knowledge, that you may be filled with all the fullness of God. The fullness of God. That means there's no empty places, no empty space, completely filled, overtaken, overwhelmed, packed full. I want that to really sink in. He says that you can know the love of Christ, which you can't know, but you can because He reveals and shows it to you. And that means that I'm so filled with Him, with who He is. It transforms my life completely and totally. And this is Paul's prayer, that we be strengthened in the inner man, that Christ dwell in you, and that you know the love of Christ, which is to be filled with the fullness of God. No empty space. This is what we're going for. And notice that this prayer shows us it's a product of faith, of believing. It's a product of knowing God, of knowing Him, knowing love. And it changes me and I become love. That's what I was created in the beginning. That's what you were created in the beginning, in the likeness and image of God. And He has restored you to that. He has redeemed you from the fall. He's redeemed you from sin. He's redeemed you from unrighteousness to bring you back into union with Him, that you be completely changed and made into the likeness of God.